everyone. Welcome to the Leaderboard. We talk about what's going on in the world of esports. I'm Meg Turney, and joining me as always is my co-host, Mr. Jared Wynne of the Daily Dot.
That's me.
That's you.
As always.
You look really fly today. Like, I'm into your wardrobe today.
Pretty fly?
Yeah.
Like a...
White guy. Got it.
Got it. Excellent.
Good banter.
Bam.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, man. That's pretty fly, too.
All right. Okay.
I'm sorry. Here we go.
No! I knew it was going to happen. I went for it anyway. I'll never leave somebody hanging. All right. Another edition of the Gfinity Masters played out this weekend. Go fuck yourself. And the champion was, no surprise, Fnatic won yet again to add their growing title collection, but some other matches played during the event proved more difficult to predict. All right, so let's talk about, can anybody beat Fnatic?
They can, because Team Salome beat them twice in a row and then didn't show up this weekend when Fnatic actually won. So, kind of answered your question right there, didn't I?
Boom!
Next
Set
subject.
me up for it.
Yeah, TSM didn't show up, but TSM's played very well as of late. We talked about Kerrigan coming in for them and giving them a new look as their new in-game leader, being a more dynamic presence, giving some more improvisational strategies in the middle of a match that helps them to adapt to teams, adapting to them, which is a nice thing to be able to do, to adapt. You know, adaptation is the first rule of science, right? Adapt, readapt, and then
adapt some more.
Post-adapt.
Yes.
But Fnatic's still very good. They've got Olaf Meister, who's just playing exceptional Counter-Strike right now. JW, always a dynamic sniper. Just the shots he's been able to hit, even with the changes to the op that have come down, even with him being an aggressive sniper who you think might be affected by those changes that happened, he still managed to stay at the top of his game and just look really solid. Great leadership from Ponax. This is a top-tier team, to say the very least. And I think we're going to look back on this era of Fnatic and say this team was just fucking loaded. Because I think the talent level is so high at the top of the game in CSGO that for a team to be as consistently good as Fnatic is, it just speaks to how elite they really are. I think to beat them, to get on their level, you have to have tremendous individual skill, and you have to bring that together as a team that's been working together for a long time. That's why TSM, we've seen, has success against Fnatic, because they've always had great individual skill, but now they've really solidified as a team with their tactics, their new approach to the game strategically with Kerrigan at the helm. That's what's made the changes for them. But as you mentioned, the Richest Tournament was kind of chaotic. Vox and Minor, the Australian team, Vox and Minor almost made it through to the playoff section, which was a big thing for an Australian team to do. Very impressed with Vox.
You cheer for the Australian teams. You want to see them come back.
I'm a fan. You know, I'm a fan of the Aussies, actually. I am. Immunity didn't do quite so well here. They kind of got their shit kicked in a little bit.
Oh, all right.
Just a touch.
Just a little bit.
Just a touch. After they didn't qualify for the event last week, they then kind of act like they didn't qualify for this one with their play. But Vox played extremely well. Team Liquid had a very up and down time. They looked terrible out of the gate, as they looked pretty bad at their prior international experiences. But then they turned around and beat Na'Vi in a map, beat Fnatic in a map. So hard to know what to expect from them. They still haven't even settled on a solid fifth player. They need to do that and get a solid lineup together.
Probably a good idea.
And Cloud9 making their re-debut with their new lineup, not so great. Like, they beat Immunity, actually blew Immunity out, but after that, they were at best competitive, at worst, not so good. So we'll see. They need more time to kind of simmer. They were actually upset with the media reaction, let's say, to their lack of results. They think they need more time together. I agree. They do need more time together, but you still have to be judged based on your performance in the moment. And at this time, they're not performing like a top-tier team. They're not performing like they're being paid to perform. I want to see more from them. I am at least happy to see Skadoodle back on the pro scene. He should never have left. He's a great player. I'm happy to see Freakazoid playing at this level again. So I want to give them time. I want them to do well, but we do need to see more from them than we saw here.
All right, I'm excited to move on to this next story because it is my favorite. I love when people go ham, and this is a full ham story.
Full on ham. There was no half-hamming here.
Full ham.
Yes.
All right. Well, League of Legends off-season is currently in effect. That hasn't stopped some players from stirring up the drama. Oh, yeah. One such player is former Counterlogic Gaming mid laner Austin Link Shen, who, after leaving the team this month, decided to post a lengthy, and by lengthy we mean 18-page, open letter, dishing the dirt on his former team and burning pretty much every bridge ever of all time. Let's talk about this letter.
You burned the Brooklyn Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge.
Every bridge is gone.
If there was a bridge, I'm sorry, your driving route is now fucked.
It's done.
Because he's burned it.
If you live on an island, you're stuck.
You're done. There's no Hawaiian bridge really to the mainland
well,
or
but
anything,
there should be, right?
Yeah, well, there could be. If there was, he would have burned it.
He would have fucked it up.
He would have burned it, yeah. So this was a little bit of a temper tantrum at the seam. I'm not sure what it was exactly.
The thing about it that is respectable, not respectful at all, is 18 pages. Like, we see a lot of throwaway tweets that are like, oh, in the moment, like, oh, I'm angry. You have to be angry for a really long time for 18 pages.
Yeah, and some of it wasn't even anger. It was just, like, wandering thoughts. Like,
yeah, it was
he
like,
just
here's my
talked through-
life a little bit.
He talked through his, like, past seasons and, like, here's what happened in this season and this season.
Yeah,
you know?
my
And
grades and all that.
Yeah, that's cool, I guess. But, I mean, we want to get to the real fucking drama, right? We want to get to the bad stuff.
Well, he brought that, too.
Which he had plenty of.
He
yeah.
did bring that, too.
You still got 9 pages of that, probably, at least. It's like a full section of his diary. He's just like, you know what? I'm just going to rip this section out and put it on a Google Doc.
He pulled a Gwen Stefani. He just put it out there.
I'm just going to put it out there, you know. My favorite part, actually, was when he talked shit about Doublelift tremendously. I mean, he really put Doublelift under the bus and then was like, but he's still a friend. Peace. You
Yeah.
know, love you, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
You're the problem in the team. You're the reason, like, none of our top laners have good communication. You don't trust anyone. You can't be talked to. You can't be properly led because you try to take over the game. But friends forever, BFFs.
BFFs. There are a lot of LMAOs in here that I think are so funny.
LMAO.
Everyone thinks this guy is he's talking about Shoutcaster, and he's like, man, everybody says this guy's God. He's not. He's like, okay, I guess, at best. And also, he's a really shitty coach, and also, he sucks. LMAO. Like,
LMAO.
like what?
Yeah, he didn't have kind words for Monte Cristo, who tried to coach them by Skype. That was a weird situation anyway. But yeah, and it's kind of a strange thing where he talks about how the team needs to be more willing to accept leadership, and you have to have leaders who can really take over the team and instruct them in a certain way. But then he's the in-game leader, right? And he can't do that same thing. He talks about how the team can't follow him, and so if you want your coach to inspire your team, then maybe your in-game leader should also be able to inspire the team to some extent. There was some hypocrisy here.
Oh, yeah.
Some wandering thoughts and meanderings going on. And then, of course, we got all the responses. Doublelift has to come out and be like, hey, you know, I agree with some of the stuff, like the things where I don't trust my top laners and I just ignore them. And, you know, I maybe have some chemistry here and there, but, you know, I'm not a bad guy. Ultimately, he's just talking shit. Monte Cristo even responds in short and says, you know, I don't agree. Basically, he didn't really go much further than that.
And that's it.
Yeah, he said that he offered to fly out for certain events and to be there, have more of a presence there. So it's just a big fucking drama bomb.
It is.
What it does say is, like, this guy must not want to play League anymore because who would take him on the team at this point?
He seems very, like, drop the mic. But it's not even, like, a good drop the mic. It's just, like, kind of epically, like, it's like a train wreck drop the mic.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, it's like, here's 18 pages of my diary ripped out, free to peruse on Google Docs.
Right.
Which, by the way, like, has a hard time loading when you have thousands of League fans trying to look up the document at the same
I looked at it this morning and it was like, wow, this document is popular.
Yeah, it still is popular days later. Imagine when it first came out. And the guy seemed somewhat surprised in, like, his initial reaction to his reaction. Like, it was, he didn't seem to understand why people were getting so bent out of shape about it, or maybe construing it the wrong way. How do you want people to construe it exactly? You released a long statement like that just talks shit about everybody. It's going to be construed as kind of a negative thing, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
I should have put the last line in the prompter, but I didn't. But it was something like, I don't ever want to play League anymore because nobody plays it properly anymore anyway, LMAO. And that was like the last line.
It's like, you know, and
it's like, not only do I not want to play your game, you all fucking suck at it. Bye, bitches.
It frames him as like the hero of the story, too. Like, I tried so hard and I got so far with CLG, but in the end,
it didn't even matter. It doesn't even matter.
Because Doublelift was just too much of a prick for me to take the team where it needed to go. And Afromu didn't speak up enough, even though he's a good, solid dude. And we didn't have the coaching necessary to get to the next level. And our top laners had this weird situation. By the way, the chemistry issues with CLG, we've always known they're there. But when you have reports of like, okay, so the top laner won't allow the jungler to actually come up and get into the top lane, and that top laner has no relationship with the ADC, who doesn't have any trust in him and admits to it later on, that's probably a bad situation for a team.
It's already a bad situation.
That wants to compete for a title and go to Worlds, much less have any success at all professionally, and be a professional team. Like, never mind having success, but actually being professionals and having all these things be true. Like, the chemistry there and the setup there with this team is just so fucked.
Right. And he actually talks about that in his letter. He's like, I can't give it 150% anymore, which I thought was cute, like 150 instead of
100. Normally I give 150%.
Or 110. No. He goes well above that.
Yeah. Well, he's the hero here.
But also, he just wants to do one more split, and you don't just bring a team together and win Worlds, LMAO. Like,
LMAO.
Okay.
That's the big takeaway here is LMAO.
LMAO.
It's just hilarious, the whole situation.
The whole situation.
It's really funny.
Laughing his ass
So funny,
off.
he's laughing his ass off repeatedly. He must have had a hard time writing the whole thing, actually.
Because it's really hard to
write. He was
write.
repeatedly just like laughing his ass right off.
Right off there.
It was just too much. The memes were so dank. They were so dank and so hilarious, you know, that he couldn't handle.
He should have ended it. It should have been like, nobody plays it properly anymore. LMAO. Kappa. Like, just out. Didn't mean the whole thing.
Just go Kappa on a
Kappa.
Google Doc. That's when you know. And then like the T-Tours thing.
Somebody put a salt emoji underneath it. It'd be great. We'll just meme it all the way up.
Just go with the epic memers
Epic
until
memers.
the Google Doc is too popular to be read anymore. And that's the ultimate meme.
There you go.
When you put so many memes in the Google Doc, it can't be read anymore.
Can't even be read anymore.
You've just
You should have come to us
you've won.
for like how to do this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he just went out by himself and like a Lone Ranger and just like
Oh, yeah.
shot
He
himself
went rogue.
in the feet.
You should in the feet.
Foot. He did, in both
Both
feet at the
feet.
same time. He just like double gunslinger and then just like bam bam.
Do-do-do.
Yeah. Or
you
do-do-do.
should-
We have
okay.
different sounding guns.
My gun's from the future.
Yeah.
Do-do-do.
Mine's a
All right.
little more tame.
Sorry. Tell us what you think about LMAO.
Yeah, please.
In the comments down
Give
below.
us your thoughts on Link's 18-page journal
Yeah.
entry.
Also, I like that people likened it to Friends because Rachel writes what, like eight. It's 8 pages. Rachel's thing, or is it 18 pages?
CLG
I
is
think
like
Rachel's
Friends
is 18 pages.
without the humorous
Also.
endings to the episodes. It's
Yeah,
just like all the
exactly.
bullshit drama, and that's it. Take all the funny stuff out of Friends, and you basically have CLG for the past couple seasons, right?
Somebody also photoshopped that. All right, we'll move on. Another big Call of Duty tournament went down as UMG There's nothing can be as good as that story. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're still gonna try. Another big Call of Duty tournament went down as UMG California saw many of the world's best teams clash. OpTic Gaming whoop, whoop, continued their winning ways after another change to their roster, though this one looks to be permanent. FaZe seemed poised to challenge OpTic in the final, but ultimately came up short. All right, let's talk about OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, well, you just keep winning
Can't stop
tournaments.
that green wall.
It just can't stop winning tournaments. It doesn't matter who they have in the fourth slot, you know?
All they do is win, 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 no matter what.
Yeah, you just keep swapping out the fourth slot and you keep winning. So it seems like the 3 guys at the core of the team are just too good. That's what it comes down to. When you
They're
have
too good. They must be
they're
removed.
too good. Well, it's kind of a problem when you can just like haphazardly swap your fourth player out, and it doesn't even fucking matter. You just keep winning, with the exception of the Call of Duty Championship, which of course was the big upset. They
Yeah.
didn't do so well there. You know,
They did really
which is
bad
kind of a big deal. It's kind of like the worst time of the entire year to have the one-off event. But still, respect to them for being able to do this. Keep it up with the fourth player going in and going out, going in and going out. Just they're so good. Crim6 is like an all-time winning player at this point with his title history. I had a stat given to me by my colleague Sam Lingle. Something like 60-something% of tournaments he's entered, he has outright won. Not just placed highly in, but
I
actually
just want to
won.
be near him. Like,
It's
just hang out in his entourage.
It's like if you are him, better than half the tournaments you go to, you're actually going to win
The
over
whole
the course
thing.
of like years-long career. So
Right.
that's pretty. It's pretty
a
good.
great
That works
statistic.
out for him. This whole Call of Duty playing thing, it has worked out for him thus far.
Absolutely.
Form was a great individual player, and that's not even to say anything about Scump, who is, I think, maybe their hottest talent right now at the time. So they're just really, really, really good. No one can match their individual skill, how good they are, and of course, you know, they can get any fourth player basically because you want to play with this team right now.
Right.
You want to be a part of that winning, just win, 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 as Karma now
Absolutely.
wants to be a part of. So he's going to come in there and pick up the slack for them. So yeah, I mean, it's just they're really good, and it's hard for teams to counter that because what do? Do you try to assemble a team of all-stars like they did and put that together? But they already have the best all-stars, so you're getting like second-tier all-stars to play the ultimate all-star lineup
OpTic B
in
team.
modern COD. Yeah, OpTic Nation is actually the OpTic B team at
There
this
you go.
point. So they have a literal B team, not just the figurative one that someone can make.
Yeah.
I think you have to have a really good team of talented players and have them stick together for a long time and kind of build on that success and just build together, and eventually maybe you challenge them consistently. And at first you challenge them like on a every once in a while basis. So that's probably the route to go here, but it's hard to be patient when you see this one team of great players just winning every single event, except of course for the biggest one of the year.
Right.
Just gotta throw it out there. But there's now another Worlds, another big major later in the year, so they have a chance to kind of revenge themselves if they stick together for that long.
Revenge it.
Do please.
Well, it's interesting because when Nadeshot quit, I thought this could be the moment it all like gets dramatic and falls apart.
And instead
with,
they just
like-
keep winning.
And then they're like, yeah,
In fact, they go back to winning.
brush
when
that
they
off
quit.
and just keep going.
Well, you know, there was talk about him being a problem or maybe a weak link there, and I don't know how weak link he really was, but certainly he was not driving their success
Right.
because they've been able to continue that on without him very much easily. I don't know if easily is really the right word for it, but they've
Very
certainly continued-
easily?
Yes, very easily, so easily.
Yes,
It's been like dramatically easily.
dramatically easy.
Yeah, the dramatic easiness is just radiating. They're seeping easiness
LMAO.
from their pores,
LMAO.
as OpTic does. The green wall. Who can challenge OpTic Gaming? Anyone?
Who can take on the green
You
wall?
tell us, because I don't know.
Yeah, because
FaZe beat them in one set. They did, and they got swept in the second set.
Do you think it's like you just have to piss them off a little bit? Like they lost at Worlds, so then they came back and were like, fine.
Well, that is kind of what happened in California. They got beaten in the first set of the grand final, and they came back and swept FaZe in the second set.
Right.
So it's like, oh, you won a set? Well, we're just going to take every map now. And it's
Right. I think they
anymore.
need like that push. It's like they're
Yeah.
like what gets them
Well,
going.
they're just so busy winning all the time. It's hard to actually get up and for a competition, right?
Right.
It makes sense.
Performance anxiety.
Yeah.
All right.
Anxiety. What are they anxious of exactly?
Losing. You don't want to lose.
Oh, but that would make okay, sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Finally, Blizzard has announced a $1.2 million prize fund leading up to the big championship event for Heroes of the Storm at this year's BlizzCon. It's the richest tournament in history funded by Blizzard and raises the stakes in a game that still technically isn't even released. What's Blizzard's game plan here, Mr. Jared?
To support a game to some extent with the whole competitive gaming thing. In the past, they've been more community-oriented, which is a nice way of saying let them take care of it. Let the community handle this whole competitive thing. We want them to, take it in the right direction they want to, which is just a very hands-off, kind of cop-out sort of thing to do. Not the right way to go. Not the right way to go. With Hearthstone, didn't really work out so well. Hearthstone now has so many tournaments, so many qualifiers going on at the same time. The lead up to the World Championship at BlizzCon was not the best lead up, the qualification for that. So they've revised their approach. Now with Heroes, they say we're going to go aggressively, actually. We're going to have Heroes of the Dorm on ESPN2.
Right.
We're going to push this game competitively to the greatest possible level we can. So it's really the opposite approach from Blizzard compared to their past approaches. So that's a big change for them. Putting in a bunch of money for the prize pool over the course of the build up to the World Championship at BlizzCon, that's also a big change for them. I like it. I'm glad Blizzard's getting more involved. They should, if they're going to have games that have significant competitive aspects, which they do. StarCraft, pretty much solely about the competition there. Mm-hmm. Heroes of the Storm is a MOBA. It's all about the competition. It makes sense that they would be involved. Hearthstone, always a competition. They should be pushing the game like this. It's about time, I would say, for Blizzard. It's about time, like the StarCraft 2 guy says that.
Finally getting on.
Yeah.
Well, so let's talk about the 1.2 million because that's exciting. It is $1 million, but then you look at like the international where it's like, whatever, 11 million.
So 1.2 million.
We have 11. Yeah. We want and when they make actually like the total money they make off the compendium, it's like 60 million that they want this year.
Yeah, they want a lot of money from this.
They want it all.
I guess it's baby steps. As far as 1.2 million can be baby steps,
Yeah.
That's a pretty big baby step.
It is.
Of course, for Activision Blizzard as a company, that's not really that big of a baby step.
Right.
They do make some money. We talked about Call of Duty, talked about StarCraft, Hearthstone. All of these games feed into the Activision Blizzard machine, which is just fueled by pure moneyness.
They just burn money to keep
it doesn't run on fuel. It runs on moneyness.
Moneyness.
Yeah, every dollar you put into the machine powers the machine.
All right.
As it would.
Sir.
So, yeah, it's a good move. But I'm glad they're doing it. They need to do it. It's overdue, really. They need to be more involved in their games competitively if they want them to have a place in the current competitive structure. And we've seen that promoting your game through the competitive side of it is very important. That's why League of Legends is so popular. You get 30+ million to watch your game. Your game's probably going to be pretty popular to people to play. And it's probably going to make some money that way. So it's a smart strategy by Blizzard. It's about time, again. They need to do it.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us on the leaderboard this week. We'll be back again next week with more, I hope, more drama.
Get some more 18-page diary entries out there for us.
Please write an 18-page diary for us.
Anyone, actually. Put it in the comments.
Yeah, don't put 18 pages there, but link to a Google
Your
Doc.
favorite 18-page dramatic diary on Google Docs.
Yay. GG, everyone.